Inuarata no Sahai is my amiable name, and I'm so elated to come your way this morning and add value to your day, especially as it concerns productivity and effectiveness in the workplace. Now, on my series, since the last 3 weeks on the psychological safety series, we have looked at 5 benefits of psychological safety in the workplace. We have also looked at 4 keys to recognize a company with psychological safety before you accept their job offer. Then we have also looked at 4 strategic ways to ensure psychological safety as a boss. Now, there are some of you employees out there who have found yourself in a psychologically unsafe workplace. Now, first of all, remember, psychological safety is about creating a work environment where employees are not afraid to bring their contribution to the table. They are not afraid to admit mistakes. They are not afraid to make contribution. But a psychologically unsafe workplace is the opposite. It is a workplace or a work environment where employees or team members, because of fear of being shamed, because of fear of getting embarrassed, they are afraid to, air their views. They are afraid to make contribution. They are afraid to admit mistakes, and at the end of the day, they don't bring their best to the table. Now, there are so many employees out there who have found themselves in a psychologically unsafe work environment, and you don't have that mind to leave that work environment because why? You need the money. Your family needs the income. Imagine working in a federal agency or parastatal, in a state agency or parastatal, where at the end of the day, you get pension, you are working in an organization, you are earning a juicy salary, but it's not psychologically safe. The environment is toxic, but you don't want to leave, you don't intend to leave because why? You need the money. Your family need the income, just like I mentioned just now. So at the end of the day, you need to learn to cope. You need to learn to, manage that psychologically unsafe workplace. And that is what has informed my conversation with you this morning under our psychological safety series on the topic, 4 ways to cope with a psychologically unsafe workplace as an employee. 4 ways to cope with a psychologically unsafe workplace as an employee. Remember, a psychologically unsafe workplace is a work environment where, for fear of being shamed, for fear of getting embarrassed, employees find it difficult to bring their best to the table. They find it difficult to make contribution. They find it difficult to contribute their views. They find it difficult to admit errors and mistakes because of the way, the leadership of the system will react. We are looking at 4 ways to cope with a psychologically unsafe workplace as an employee. Now, the first way I'm recommending for you this morning to cope with a psychologically unsafe workplace as an employee is for you to come to work every day with your own psychological safety. Very important. Now, another way of saying this is that come to work every day with your own emotional stability. Come to work every day with your own psychological safety. Now, resolve within yourself that you will not be intrinsically controlled. You will not be controlled from the outside. When I mean from the outside, you will not be controlled, by the behavior of the psychologically unsafe work environment, by the behavior that is found there. Maybe the behavior of your superior, the behavior of your colleague, or any other form of toxic behavior that is in that environment. You will not determine your worth. You will not determine your value by the behavior of the people in the unsafe, psychologically unsafe workplace. Just resolve within yourself that you are valuable on your own. You are, you already know that, you are of value, you are of worth. You don't allow the behavior of the people there to determine your self-esteem. You have that self-confidence, that self-belief on your own. You come to work every day with your own psychological safety. You come to work every day with your own emotional stability. And that will go a long way to help you cope, with the psychologically unsafe work environment. Remember what I said, that you don't allow the, what is happening, the toxic nature of the work environment to get into you. You already agree with yourself that, you are an employee of value. You are already an employee that, you are bringing your best to the table as an employee. At the end of the day, you become psychologically safe. This is very, very important. Come to work every day with your own psychological safety. Even if your superiors seems not to value your worth, you on your own, from your own end, you value your worth. And let me tell you the bottom line truth. They value your worth. It's just that they lack the character to show that they value your worth. Very, very important. So number one way to cope with a psychologically unsafe workplace as an employee is for you to come to work every day with your own psychological safety. Come to work every day with your own emotional stability. The second way to cope with a psychologically unsafe workplace as an employee is for you to practice the emotional intelligence of self-regulation. This is very important. Emotional intelligence is the intelligence or the smartness of being able to manage your own emotions and manage the emotion of others. Now, it starts from you being able to manage your own emotion, which is self-regulation, your ability to control your impulses. Now, what self-regulation will help you to do is that it will help you to lead yourself. Self-regulation will help you not to react impulsively or emotionally in a negative way during conflict, so that you don't worsen the already conflicting situation. You don't worsen the already tense situation. So when you possess that self-regulation, you are able to make sure that in that psychologically unsafe environment, you keep yourself intact. You control your words, you control what you say, you control your responses. You don't respond or react impulsively. Everything you do is done with rationality and with a lot of logic. And this also goes a long way. Self-regulation goes a long way to see that you don't over associate with toxic colleagues. And at the end of the day, you become psychologically safe, even in a psychologically unsafe work environment. The third one is for you to create a personal self-care system or program outside your work environment. Create a personal self-care system outside the work environment. Now, a psychologically unsafe workplace drains employees. It drains passions out of them. It drains zest out of them. It drains, that enthusiasm out of them. And at the end of the day, they are not able to bring their best to the table. Now, this will not necessitate the need for you to create a personal self-care system. And now, a personal self-care system are intentional activities that you engage in that reset yourself, that refreshes you for optimal productivity in the work environment. And some of these self-care systems could be prayers, it could be meditation, it could be going for a long walk or doing light exercises. It could be talking to a mentor. This is very, very important. This will go a long way to refresh yourself and reset yourself, so that when you come to work the next day or the next week, you are bringing your A game to the table. It could also be, you just taking enough rest, a kind of rest whereby you put off your phone and every other gadget. You don't want to, have that kind of rest whereby every 30 minutes or every 10 minutes you are being interrupted with promptings online, you are being interrupted with calls. There is no way that will help you to reset and refresh yourself. You rest very well. This is very important. There are so many other, personal self-care systems you can engage in that can actually help you to refresh and reset yourself. The last one, which is the concluding one, is you strengthening your competence to build internal confidence. Strengthening your competence to build internal confidence. Now, when you develop yourself, when you build your competence, this will go a long way to positively help you to enjoy psychological safety in a psychologically unsafe environment, because that's your internal confidence will just build that self-belief and self-knowing that you are at your best. And it will also help you in a way that other toxic colleagues will not control the narrative against you. And it will also make the system, the management, to treasure you as an amazing asset that they will not want to let go soonest. This is very, very important. We have just looked at 4 ways to cope with a psychologically unsafe workplace as an employee. Number 1, I said, come to work every day with your own psychological safety. Come to work every day with your own emotional stability. Secondly, the second way to cope with a psychologically unsafe workplace as an employee, I said practice the emotional intelligence of self-regulation, where you are able to control your impulses, you are able to regulate yourself, and at the end of the day, you don't react or respond positively, to matter, especially during conflict. Don't say things that will be used against you. Then thirdly, I said create a personal self-care system, intentional activities you engage in that refreshes you, that resets you for optimal productivity in the workplace. Then the last one, I said strengthen your competence to build internal confidence. That will go a long way to see, when you know that you are good at your job, you bring your A game to the table, that will go a long way, to see that, whatever anybody says in the works environment, in the psychologically unsafe workplace, no matter the negative comments, that they say, the internal confidence you have as a result of, built up competence will just act as a bulletproof and a buffer to help you, weather whatever anybody is saying that may further worsen your psychological state. You become psychologically safe, even in a psychologically unsafe work environment. I believe that lots of value has been added to you today. I know that, those of you that may be working in a psychologically unsafe environment, a toxic environment, with these 4 points that I've brought your way this morning, we will be able to cope with that system. Because like I said, you may not just want to leave that place because you need the money, your family needs the income. You need to learn to just, be able to navigate yourself in as much as the environment may be psychologically unsafe. Like I said, I believe that lots of value have been added to you. I know you want to send your questions and inquiries across, and that is why my email is right there on the screen, inuagata@gmail.com. Send your questions, send your inquiries, and then you get the needed response. I'll be seeing you next week, Wednesday. And when I return, I will still be the amiable Inuagata no Sahai. Your day is so blessed.